Hello, 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 hello. Okay, so let's see. All right, so hold on, I got to turn off my volume. Okay, so give me a second here so I can share it, the live. And then we can start into our conversation. Okay. All righty, one more thing. There's a little bit of delay. So please make sure that if you have questions, put them in the chat and so that I can answer them. And I look forward to, we're using YouTube Live. This is the second time I've done this. How exciting. Woo! Okay, hello, I'm Gaia Morissette. I believe the key to a happy, healthy, wealthy, magical, epic, orgasmic life is sexual wellness, embracing the human experience, letting go of fear, shame, self-loathing, and guilt. I'm a universal translator and conduit of love and light. I help the world heal from their trauma. I'm a holistic sexual wellness specialist. I'm a high priestess of divine sexual magic. I'm the guardian of elemental magics. I make pleasure safe. I make sex better, and I help people take their lives to the next level. And I do this through speaking, training, and coaching. And welcome to another wonderful, amazing episode of Transcendent Thursdays, where we explore all things magical. And this is the day in which I show up as my magical high priestess goddess self, and we explore some things. So if you're used to, more of the sexual content that I usually give, and you're going to be uncomfortable with a little bit of me being my magical self, then I recommend coming and hanging out with me tomorrow on Friday or on Wednesdays, not on Thursdays. Okay, so this morning I wanted to talk about trust and trusting everything is unfolding perfectly. Let's just take a moment for a second and just like, what does that mean to trust? As humans, we have a lot of trust issues. Trust in ourselves, trust in the universe, trust in people, trust in everything is going to unfold perfectly. We have a lot of trust issues, and we spend a lot of time trying to avoid that pain point of surrendering and just letting go and trusting, because we've been wounded, because we've been hurt. And so I want to talk to you just a little bit about that. Everything that happens in our lives is always perfect, even the pain points. So say, for example, here could be a good example. You are running late. You're running around and you're running late and you're having a hard time. You can't find your keys and your keys are lost and you can't find them. And you're like, you're all miserable and you're like, I'm running behind time. And you finally find your keys, and then you get in the car and you drive to work, and then you find out that you ended up avoiding a huge accident. But while you were trying to find your keys and you were lost, you're like, life is sucky. And if you took a moment to be like, oh, my keys are lost for a reason. I'm just going to calm down and I'll find them when I'm supposed to find them. And obviously it's, I'm being delayed for a reason. Life is like that all the time. There are so many moments throughout your day that you can either fight because you don't think that it's going according to your master plan, or you can just surrender to and trust that everything is happening and unfolding perfectly. There's ways in which we can see that. There's data that we can see that says, oh, in hindsight, you're like, oh, that makes sense why that relationship ended. That relationship ended, opened up a new possibility for a new person to come into your life. Or, oh, I can, in hindsight, I can see why, I didn't get that job promotion that I really, 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 really wanted, because I didn't get that job promotion, I ended up leaving that position and finding my dream job. And it forced me to maybe go back to school and do it, end up doing what you love. There's so many things that when things happen, if we trusted that it was perfect, then we wouldn't have as much anxiety and stress and agitation going on in our day-to-day lives. And I know you're like, oh, Gaia, that's all like woo-woo. Oh, Gaia, that's so much easier said than done. Oh, I agree. Isn't that fucking easy? There's nothing easy about saying, I trust that the universe has my back. I trust in my own ability to handle whatever the universe has in store for me, and that I lean into those growth moments. That's all I have to do. Like, life can be incredibly complicated, or it can be incredibly easy. We make it complicated. We choose complication over and over and over and over and over. We choose distress over and over and over again. We choose all of those things because we don't want to just surrender. Because surrendering might mean that is too scary. It may mean that we are out of control. But I'm here to tell you, you don't have any fucking control anyways. You have no control. The only control you have in life is how you react to each moment. Do you relax into it? Do you trust it? Do you surrender? Do you go with the flow? How do you handle it? How do you manage it? Do you blame everybody else? Do you choose the role of victim? Do you, as I like to call it, get on the batshit crazy train? How we choose to handle things and move with the world and life and lessons and the universe is the only control we have. What externally happens to us, we do not have control over. There was one point in between, and this is my own core belief, okay? So if you don't believe with me, that's okay, but my core belief system says to me that I believe in reincarnation. So in between my lives, I made a choice on what I was going to explore and what I was going to learn. When I say what I was going to learn, I mean the bigger life truths, right? And for me, what perpetually comes up for me is surrender and trust. These are two things that pretty much are my, if I can get this concept, I have succeeded in this lifetime. The more moments that I'm like, yeah, that's right. I just need to surrender and trust. Trust in myself, trust in the universe, and just surrender. Stop being control freak, Gaia, and get out of the way, right? Just surrender. And the funniest part about that, you would think that I know that sounds, if you're a control freak, that sounds like the worst possible thing in the world. I know. That's why it's been my life lesson that I've been exploring, right? And the point is that it's one of those things that when I do that, I say probably I'm sitting at a 25 to 50%. I'm now at a 25 to 50% throughout my day on a daily basis in the surrender mode and trusting, which is really good. I've been practicing this for a long time. So that's really good. There's even days like where I'm like totally like, okay, I'm in the zone, and or if I'm in nature, or if I'm, that I can get up to like 90%. But those aren't that's not my norm, right? Yet. I'm working on it still. And the key thing that I found that has helped me through this process for me has been when I have data, I have actual data that says when I let go and I surrender and I trust everything's happening the way it's supposed to happen, one, I'm way more calm, emotionally calm, physically calm. My body feels better, my mind feels better, everything is better for me. Plus, some like epic magical things happen in those days and in those moments that I'm like, I could never have created that. I could never have seen that as a possibility with my limited understanding of the universe and the world. So I have data that tells me that everything works really good when I just surrender to it. That the universe loves me unconditionally and it's got my back. And I only have like a couple jobs. My job is to show up as my authentic self. My second job is to surrender to the flow of the day and trusting that everything's unfolding perfectly. And my third job is to lean into those teachable and growing moments. Those are my three jobs. That's all I have to do. If I do those things, everything works perfectly. And it does. So you think that I would just do it all the time then, that I would be at the 95% or the 98% or even at 100% of my life moving that way, because I have plenty of data that proves to me that it's actually really wonderful place to be. But due to my humanness, due to my own past stuff and bullshit around trust and safety and trauma and experiences, it's not always safe. I don't always feel safe for that to happen. Now, the reality is I may not feel safe, but that doesn't mean I'm not safe. And those are two different things. So that's my message to you today is you can look at, if you're able to, okay, so first of all, first step is to be able to look at the past, look at things at the past and be like, oh, I can totally see why that happened and how that taught me this, this, and this, which allowed me to be at this place, and this place, and this place, which allowed me to meet this people, these people, this people. So one, I want you to be able to start looking at your life that way. Two, the secondary thing is that, well, what if you could believe that and understand that in the moment? So not just in hindsight, but in the moment. So you're in a pain point, something's uncomfortable, and you say, okay, I'm going to just take a deep breath, exhale, and I'm just going to lean into this experience and learn whatever is going to be there, grow from whatever is going to be there, experience whatever is going to be there. That's second phase. And see what happens in your day and see what starts happening in your life. And if your life is a giant clusterfuck, okay, so I need to put this caveat in there. If your life is a giant clusterfuck and things are not unfolding and you're like, there's no fucking way, Gaia, that my life is unfolding perfectly. Well, my question to you is, are you doing the three things that I talked about? Are you surrendering and being in the moment with the experience? Are you learning what needs to be learned from that experience? And are you showing up your true self and being true to your true nature of who you really truly are? usually if your life is in a giant clusterfuck, it's because you're not doing that part. You're not following your space. You're probably sabotaging due to fear and fear of safety and fear and not trusting in yourself and your ability to handle everything, and worried that the world's coming to an end and the universe does hate your guts and all those things, all these thoughts, all these experiences. You're moving and you're acting and you're reacting instead of responding. You're reacting to life. And when you're reacting to life, usually is when your life is a giant clusterfuck because you are not actually learning whatever it is that the universe is trying to teach you. Because the thing is that this is the beautiful thing about the divine universe of love and light, is that it will teach you eventually that lesson. Eventually, at one point, whether it's in this lifetime, the next lifetime, 25 lifetimes from now, it will just keep showing up. The same lesson will keep showing up until you get it. It's like, the universe is very determined to teach you what you need to teach you so that you can move forward and have the best version and be the best version of yourself and have the most epic life ever. And it's up to us how quickly we learn that lesson and how easily we learn that lesson. Okay, so those are your two things I want to think about. If your life's a gong show, what of those three things are you not doing? And two, it's time to surrender and trust. And if the feeling, every time I say trust, you kind of feel like you're going to throw up in your mouth a little bit, then I highly recommend you coming and hanging out with me so that we can get to the root of that and we can do some reprogramming and help you in the healing process of letting go of those wounds, whatever those wounds were that created that in the first place, that trust was not a good, safe place for you. Come hang out with me. You can reach me at succulentliving.com. And I have some amazing programs to help you connect with surrendering and trusting and understanding that everything is perfectly unfolding. And thanks for hanging out with me on this Transcendent Thursday. Mwah! I will see you next Thursday. I might be on Facebook Live and maybe on YouTube Live. It all depends on what the technologies want. Okay, bye-bye.